We have covered a lot of shocking stories, from a man who dug his own grave, a woman who lost 6 children in a day, to a man who has been living in a basket for 40 years and more, but none of them were like this. This man has been sleeping in a coffin and will be doing this for the rest of his life. Normally a coffin is for the dead, but this man bought and uses a coffin, yet he's alive. So, what motivated him to start sleeping in a coffin? Or else, what are the benefits he experiences from this unusual practice compared to a regular bed? And how does the local community react to his lifestyle, beyond the initial shock and confusion? For ages, this is the only man to challenge the way we sleep. My name is Hamisi, and I live in Dar es Salaam. I have no wife, no children, in fact, no family due to personal reasons. Hamisi believes he possesses extraordinary powers inherited from his parents, leading him to adhere to certain daily rituals and beliefs, but also makes sure that sleeping in a coffin has nothing to do with looking for riches, claiming that he was already rich with too many houses and other possessions before. It's a lot of things that I have to do. For instance, this rod, if you look at it with your eyes, you could simply see it's a good-looking rod and stop there. But for me, I know who it represents. In fact, this is a person who supports me daily. People wonder why I don't marry despite having the means to support a family. So a few days ago, I wanted to make a family and met a woman who was willing to be my wife. I brought her here at home and told her more about myself. Everything was going well until I told her how I sleep in a coffin and how I'd need another coffin for her if we got married. And from there, it was a turn-off, and she immediately left scared. Hamisi believes that sleeping in a coffin offers protection, since the dead cannot be harmed. He sees it as a fresh start, free from life's struggles. When I sleep inside the coffin, I find comfort and renewal. Normally, when people die, they forget everything from this life and start afresh. So when I sleep inside the coffin, from there I start a new life and forget the world's sufferings. When someone wants me, they have to knock on the coffin for 6 times and I have to wake up after 5 minutes. No one should enter my room except me and my housemaid. Even my friends never knew this until when one neighbor told it, and from there I started losing many friends who feared that I might be practicing witchcraft, and to be honest, it's not. Whatever I do is to have a good life. Among the advantages he mentions is that in case he dies tragically, it would be easier for him to be buried right away, as he keeps mentioning that death is inevitable, and burying him should not be a problem to anyone. Though it seems normal to him and he's adapted to such a life, his unusual way of living confuses and distances those close to him, like friends and family. He usually keeps journalists out because he values his privacy. But if reporters ask for an interview, he needs to get permission first. If I get a no, I'll tell you not to come after you've called me. But if I get a yes from the elders, then I'll welcome you. I don't know why, but they make sure I'm not just showing off, so I always need their approval before doing anything. In my room, there's a bed, but I've never slept on it. Instead, I step over it to get into my coffin. I keep the bed so that my coffin isn't directly on the floor, which would suggest someone is dead, but I'm alive. Simply put, I sleep above the floor, like floating. Ever seen that? Nobody else can do it. And you'll notice my coffin is shaped like a plane. We once met old men who prepare everything for their death in advance. They plan their funeral, buy coffins, and even dig their own graves. But does he resemble these men in what he does?
na wakiufia wazee kwamba wana mali, alafu unakuta wana watoto.
Some old men with belongings worry their children might struggle to pick the right coffins when they pass away, so they make those choices in advance. I respect that. Everyone should plan their life, as we all have goals and dreams. We shouldn't judge others for their choices. Like me, I sleep in a coffin and feel peaceful. I'd rather die than not sleep in my coffin because life would lose its meaning. I know my origins, and no one should meddle in someone else's life. I do what I want, eat well, own properties, run businesses, and help others. My name is Shardak. I met Hamisi and worked with him, hence becoming friends, but rumors about him have always been circulating, saying that he might be practicing witchcraft and even sleeping in a coffin. Many times I asked him, hoping to get clear answers, but he always diverted and avoided my questions and then changed topics. But I later found it out, and it's unbelievable to think that one sleeps in a coffin. And on the other hand, we have to respect his decisions, though I don't support him. Call me Hadija. At first it was frightening. I couldn't believe that my brother sleeps in a coffin, but from there I had to go away from him. When I asked for more, he said, "There is nothing wrong with what he does," and asked me not to make it dramatic, so I had to shut it. Within a few days, he became so rich, which brought so much confusion to us. In this house, Hamisi lives with one person, his housemaid, who has to help him with cooking food and other home chores. It seems like no one, apart from the maid, comprehends him, as the rest are just confused. Interestingly, the man owns a large house, which he calls a temple, yet he hasn't entered many of its rooms, leading one to wonder why he has such a big house in the first place. Why should I go into the other rooms? I see no point in just walking into a room without a reason. Some rooms I might not visit for 6 months. There are rooms for guests and rooms for family if they come over. But most are scared of me. They say I've changed and doubt my willingness to help. But the truth is, you can't just help anyone. You need to help those who truly need it. My name is Thomas, and I'm a pastor. In this world, many people hold on to false beliefs, but we should only worship one God. Some people look for quick ways to become rich, which usually leads to regret. They are often misled by evil spirits and start following them. I was surprised to learn about a man who believes sleeping in a coffin will give him a good life. He works like everyone else during the day, but at night, he follows certain rituals. As a pastor, I wonder why someone would choose this path when we traditionally sleep in beds and wake up in the morning thanks to God. I would advise young men to work harder in life and even endure pain, but also pray harder. I'm sure that by doing that, they will succeed in life. Many people in this neighborhood are terrified by him, but he assures them, saying he's just a normal person. He is not possessed, and people should always respect his choices because he knows what he is doing and why he is doing so. And to him, everything has to follow some conditions, like when shifting and moving to another place. Anyone can touch and carry his things apart from his coffin, which has to be lifted only by the elders. The day I bought a coffin and brought it here, people at first thought that maybe I had lost someone, but after confirming that I had not lost a person, they almost started fighting me and thinking that maybe I'd lost my mind. I had to make it clear that I knew what I was doing. Apart from people's different comments, I'm happy with the life I have. The only problem I have is finding a woman who will accept to be my wife. Hamisi concludes by saying his coffin is used when healing people, and so far he has healed plenty of those who come to him. All he does is let them sleep inside and wake up the next morning without any issues. He mainly gives this service to the sick, and according to him, it works like magic, but not everyone is convinced about this treatment method.
Nitawaonyesha, lakini sio.
Next time, I'll show you my spiritual temple and explain how I got these things. You'll also meet the elders who gave me this rod. I'm not trying to show off, I just want to share my story for your project, because you were curious about why I sleep in a coffin. I own this big house or temple, and there's an even bigger one in Bagamoyo and another one in the ocean. I'll take you there and give you a tour. But first, we need to become friends. Life is full of mysteries, reminding us to keep exploring and understanding. Hamisi's story is just one example of the world's endless wonders. As Albert Einstein once said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. Thank you for watching. I am Jordan Sullivan, and this is Afrimax English. Remember to subscribe.